Beauty is the flower of chastity. By silence, I hear other men's imperfections and conceal my own. The goal of life is living in agreement with nature. But what has been said once can always be repeated. My writing is an answer to the partisans of the many, and it returns their attack with interest, with a view to showing that the hypothesis of the many, if examined sufficiently in detail, leads to even more ridiculous results than the hypothesis of the one. The avaricious man is like the barren sandy ground of the desert, which sucks in all the rain and dew with greediness, but yields no fruitful herbs or plants for the benefit of others. The second argument about motion is the so-called Achilles, and it amounts to this, that in a race the quickest runner can never overtake the slowest, since the pursuer must first reach the point whence the pursued started, so that the slower must always hold a lead. Statement of the Achilles and the tortoise paradox in the relation of the discrete to the continuous, perhaps the earliest example of the reductio ad absurdum method of proof. The arrow paradox: if an arrow is fired from a bow, then at any moment in time, the arrow either is where it is, or it is where it is not. If it moves where it is, then it must be standing still, and if it moves where it is not, then it cannot be there. Thus, it cannot move at all. The paradox of Achilles and the tortoise: if Achilles allows the tortoise a head start in a race, then by the time Achilles has arrived at the tortoise's starting point, the tortoise has already run on a shorter distance. By the time Achilles reaches that second point, the tortoise has moved on again. So Achilles can never catch the tortoise. Before a moving object can travel a certain distance, e.g. a person crossing a room, it must get halfway there. Before it can get halfway there, it must get a quarter of the way there. Before traveling a quarter, it must travel 1/8, before an 1/8, 1/16, and so on. As this sequence goes on forever, an infinite number of points must be crossed, which is logically impossible in a finite period of time, so the distance will never be covered, the room crossed, etc. Nothing is more hostile to a firm grasp on knowledge than self-deception. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, therefore we should listen twice as much as we speak.